Good evening, freaks and friends, and welcome to Math Rants. I am your conduit of rage, Math Machine, and today I'm going to be talking about a subject near and dear to my cold, blackened heart. I am a comic book nerd. I have been all my life. I grew up reading comics and watching a lot of comic-based shows, specifically Marvel and DC. And today, the focus of my intense hate lies squarely in DC's corner. I can hear it now. You're such a Marvel fanboy, of course you hate DC. I love both. I will argue to the death that as far as animation is concerned, DC will always be superior to Marvel. Batman the Animated Series, Superman the Animated Series, Justice League, Young Justice, Teen Titans, shows that they're basically the pinnacle of anything action animated, barring some animes, of course. Like, I've watched Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and Avengers Assemble, and they can't hold a candle. They are great shows, don't get me wrong, but they are not DC animation level. Oh, by the way, Batman Beyond. Because that little gem always gets forgotten, and I just want to throw that out there. My problem stems from DC's lack of ability to do anything with real-life stuff, especially in their movie department. Whereas Marvel seems to have gotten their shit together, and I'm going to specifically mention, when I say Marvel, I mean Marvel Studios. Not Sony's Marvel movies, not Fox's Marvel movies, Marvel Studios, which is now owned by Disney, but even before that, the Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, that stuff. Not Fantastic Four, not X-Men, not Spider-Man. Spider-Man and X-Men, depending on which movies, were good. Fantastic Four, no. Moving on. DC is completely owned by WB. As far as movie stuff is concerned, WB bought up the rights to that completely. I think that WB, as far as it goes, owns DC Comics just in its entirety, because I seem to recall the animated shows being all Warner Brothers as well. At least back in the Superman and Batman animated series days. It may have been just that they were made through Warner Brothers. I'm not sure. But with DC, what seems to be the problem is if it's ever a movie that does not involve Batman or Superman, odds are really, really good it's going to be really, really bad. And even when it does involve Batman or Superman, odds are like a coin flip. It could be good or bad. I don't get the problems that they're having. It seems so simple. Well, I say this, and I've never made a movie myself, but they've made some really fantastic stuff, and then they've made some really shit stuff. The gold standard of superhero movies is still Superman 1. I don't think it was the first superhero movie or the first movie like that, but it was the first one done really, really well. And it's still pretty much the standard to which all superhero movies hold up to. And we're talking about a movie from the 1970s. This thing is 40 years old now, and yet it is still the standard. They kind of went a little bonkers down the road, Superman 4, but it's this stuff. From the very get-go, DC has had a huge running start on anybody else, and I'm not sure if it's just because they don't know how to capitalize on it, or they don't, or Warner Brothers is just too scared to do anything. I honestly can't for the life of me figure out what is wrong. Uh, the Nolan trilogy of the Batman movies, huge box office from those three, and they were all great movies. I mean, everyone says stuff about the third movie, and to some degree, I do agree. I still think it was a lot better than what people give it credit for. That being said, however, I don't understand why things have been so up and down all the time. Marvel just started making movies. The first Marvel studio movie was Iron Man 1. There had been a few other times where other studios had made other Marvel movies, but then Marvel itself decided, let's try this thing ourselves. We're kind of the source material. You'd think we could handle it. It ain't Iron Man. Nobody expected that. And, yeah. And since then, movie after movie after movie, success after success after success. English, motherfucker. I do speak it. And whereas DC, they've had a long stretch of time, and it's just been roller coastering. You'll have the two Tim Burton movies for Batman that were good. You'll have the next two Batman movies, which are, the third one was okay. The fourth one, no. The Mr. Freeze movie, no. Bat credit card, rage. And then they've been trying with a couple of other heroes lately. Besides them, they did a Green Lantern movie. Oh, that one was bad. I don't know what happened with that one exactly, but whoop, it looked good. Everything was there for this to be a good movie. I don't know exactly what failed. I guess they poured all of their budget into the special effects. They forgot to get writers. And now it is... and then they made Man of Steel, which people are very split on that one. I love that movie. Barring the last 5 minutes. I don't count that, because that completely destroys everything that was being built in that movie. Yes, I do agree. There are faults with it throughout the movie. And yes, I do agree. The I am Jesus visual metaphors for Superman in that are very strong and very annoying. But other than that last 5 minutes, it's all pretty bearable. And then when it's good, it is good. And the fight scenes in that are probably, until recently, are the best fight scenes I've ever seen in any movie. I say that because I've seen Captain America the Winter Soldier. No spoilers. The fight scenes in that, however, were woo, so good. It probably topped Man of Steel's fight scenes, which is really hard to do. And that, I'm going to be debating that for a long time in my head, because whereas Winter Soldier's fight scenes were more realistic, Man of Steel's fight scenes were just like godly. And that is the key difference. That is the huge difference between Marvel and DC. Marvel is about being human. DC is about being a god. And that seems to be the very divisive factor that drives people away from each other on that. But I've never understood that, because they are two wholly... I look at it this way. They are two wholly separate entities because of that. And I like them both. When I want to be able to relate to somebody, I go to Marvel. When I want to see some of the best fights ever, I go to DC. I love you, Marvel, but when you just want to see gigantic brutes and gods fighting each other, Marvel can't touch it. They can't come close. They've tried. There's been Thanos when he had the Infinity Gauntlet. This isn't a spoiler for any movie thing that's coming up because, good lord, this is a comic back from the mid-late 90s. And that was Marvel's attempt to be really, really big, and it worked, but it was still nowhere near as close as just having Superman fight Darkseid. I mean, good lord, that is a battle that you could have in any form of medium, and I would love, because it is just raw power watching two titanic figures just duking it out. It is a spectacle. And that's why I love DC. I love watching just two gods duking it out. It's literally that simple. And sometimes they seem to forget this. Whenever they're doing a movie, they try to make them too human, which I know that is what you're supposed to do in a movie, but DC is probably the exception to that rule, because DC has always been about being gods. Also, the other reason I like DC is because, once again, I like Marvel's heroes better. I like DC's villains better. DC has the best villains. Granted, most of them are Batman villains and Superman villains, but I find that that Marvel's villains, while very good, and some of them are up there in that caliber, generally they can't hold a candle. Just DC really knew how to make villains. A lot of Marvel's villains are actually ripoffs. Same with DC's more modern heroes, like basically anything from the 80s past. Any hero from the 80s past is a ripoff of a Marvel character. The biggest example I can think of is Deathlock. He was made in, I think, '64, and he's not a super well-known Marvel character. Everyone knows his DC counterpart, though, Cyborg. Yeah, that one. The Teen Titans character. They just straight ripped off Deathlock, and they didn't even try to hide it. And somehow the ripoff is more popular than the original. Ain't that a kick? But back to my specific tangent. DC is having a lot of issues with their live-action movies, and they saw success with Man of Steel. Albeit divisive amongst fans, it was very financially successful. And now they are doing the... I don't know what it's called anymore. It's supposed to be Man of Steel 2, and now it's Batman vs. Superman, though that's a working title. It's a Justice League prequel. Let's be honest here. It is Justice League prequel. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Which kind of pisses me off, because I would have really liked to have seen a Man of Steel 2, period. And then a new Batfleck, as it's known. Oh boy. I don't have anything. Initially I was shocked, granted. I don't have anything wrong with Ben Affleck being Batman. He looks the part of an older Bruce Wayne, which is what they're going for. They're going for a 40-ish, more rough and hardened Bruce Wayne Batman combo, which is something that I think Ben Affleck could pull off really well right now. I don't think he could have 10 years ago when he was Daredevil. I think he's got it now. Once again, I'm going to wait to pass judgment until I see the damn thing. But I would have really liked to have seen a Man of Steel sequel. I would have liked to have seen a Batfleck movie on its own. I would really like to see a Wonder Woman movie, but no. DC, one of their heads, has fucking gone on record and said, "Oh, people aren't prepared for a Wonder Woman movie. It would freak them out too much." And yet Marvel's going, "Here's a talking raccoon and a walking tree that are both shooting guns." You're giving us too little credit, DC. We're willing to put up with a lot. Ugh. So anyway, they've confirmed that Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman's going to make an appearance in this. There's been rumors that the Flash is also going to appear in this. Once again, I think that he should have gotten his own movie. And this is going to be in 2016. 3 years from Man of Steel. And from the look of it, there's nothing else in between. There's no other movies coming out. You're missing the whole point, DC. You're trying too late. You honestly need to churn out a Man of Steel sequel, a Batfleck movie, a Wonder Woman movie, a Flash movie, something. Give us anything in that time period, because by the time that Man of Steel 2, Justice League prequel, what the fuck ever, comes out, we aren't going to give a shit anymore. 3 years between a movie. What you're trying is a continuous comic universe, like what Marvel is doing now, and what a lot of other studios are doing now, especially if they have a comic character, is they're trying for a fully merged, expansive, all-encompassing universe where all these movies mash together into a big climax thing, a la Avengers. What made that work, and what DC seems to be missing, is that there was a movie every year until Avengers. And now there's 2 movies every single year. That's giving us something to hold on to and to keep us interested until the big mashup happens. That's one of the reasons it works. That's what DC seems to be doing wrong here. We aren't going to care anymore. Oh, but it's Superman. Everyone wants to see Superman. They're going to care just because it's Superman. Not if you cannibalize the market as well in that attempt. Because what's happening is, originally, the release date for the Man of Steel sequel, I'm just going to start calling it the Justice League prequel for my own sanity. The Justice League prequel was originally supposed to be set on the release date of July 17, 2015. The same day as Ant-Man, which both come out 1 month after Avengers 2. Well, DC said it was because they needed more time to work on the movie. I'm pretty sure they pushed it back because they were like, fuck, we don't want to come out near Avengers. We're not going to get shit for that. So they pushed it back to May 6, 2016. And if you happen to go onto a movie list site and check out that particular date, you'll notice that is the release date for Captain America 3. After having seen Captain America the Winter Soldier, once again, no spoilers, DC is making a huge mistake. They would have had a better chance against Ant-Man than Captain America 3. Because I can say, as a person who saw Winter Soldier, that I would rather see Cap 3 over the Justice League prequel. I would. I'm a guy that grew up watching Justice Friends and Justice League. And I've wanted to see that shit for years. I'd rather see Cap 3. Because Cap 2, Winter Soldier, was good. It was really good. I'm not going to say anything about it. And it's got the momentum behind it, and it's going to be coming out in close enough time that I will still be interested, and there will be other movies being released, so I will still be interested in seeing Captain America 3, as opposed to a movie that is, for all intent and purposes, going to be another reboot thing. It's supposed to be in the same universe as Man of Steel, but that's what they're saying. We don't know exactly what's going on because they haven't been telling us anything. They haven't been doing anything with it. We need information. We need. It would help if you actually put another movie out in this universe to get us interested, but we need some sort of information to keep us interested. We are quickly losing interest. Shoot, you're about 5 years too late in the grand scheme of things, but it's really going to help if you give us something so that we can be interested. We're losing a reason to care anymore. I would rather just go watch the old Justice League cartoon at this point. At least that was good before it fucking got canceled. I don't know what it is. Every DC cartoon now seems to get canceled really, really fast or way too soon. Batman cartoon, Superman cartoon, they lasted a good amount of years. They lasted probably the right amount of time. Teen Titans, it lasted a good amount of years. It didn't last long enough, though. Young Justice, that got canceled after, I think, 2 seasons. What the fuck? I don't know what's going on with that. I think that that's more the networks than DC's fault. But another topic, another time. DC, you really need to give us an idea what your vision is, please. When we first heard Wonder Woman was going to be in this movie, our minds immediately went to, this isn't going to be a Batman, Superman movie. This isn't going to be the Man of Steel sequel. This is just going to be a Justice League prequel. Tell us what you're doing. Give us some form of confidence in you, because we want to have confidence. But they aren't saying shit. I honestly do believe they're making it up as they go, and they're trying to find something that they can work with. I hope they do. I really want this movie to succeed. I want to see a Justice League movie. I would kill for just to see on the screen a Martian Manhunter. That would be incredible to see. They probably wouldn't use Hal Jordan for obvious reasons. They probably use the second iteration, John, Green Lantern. I don't know which, either Hawk Girl or which one, man or woman. I don't know which one they use. They vary back and forth all the time. But Martian Manhunter is always the staple, and Flash, Batman, Superman, obviously Wonder Woman. There's always, they have a strong cast of core main heroes that they can use, and I would love to see them fully fleshed out, live action, in a just grand epic battle against Darkseid or Brainiac or Ra's al Ghul, or just someone that would test the very shoot. I mean, even Lex Luthor. Give a particular scenario to Luthor, and he could probably be right up there with that. I want to see something. Give me something. throw me a bone. Tell me what you're doing so I don't think you're completely out of it. I'm not asking much. I'm really not. And this would really help us. Give us confidence in you. So right now that confidence is very, very low, and we won't be shocked. At this juncture, we wouldn't be shocked if this movie was shit. And this sets you back another 5 years. Because every time you do something good, something bad happens. You can't keep up the momentum. Give us a reason to have confidence in this. Show us that you actually have a vision for this, and it's not just you trying to build up something as you can think of it. Give us that reason to care anymore, and show us that you can do this. And if you do, we will repay that by making this another billion-dollar movie. And we will. You make us care. Justice League could easily pass Avengers. I'm not kidding. They could probably be right up there with Avatar as far as a box office gross. But you have to make us care. You can't just rely on the fact that, oh, well, it's Superman, it's got Batman, it's got Wonder Woman. Make us care. Give us stuff. Show us stuff. Tell us you know what you're doing so that we can believe it in some degree. Otherwise, this might shut down your studio, and I don't want to see that. I like that there's competition between Marvel and DC. I don't want there to be just one company, and I hope that doesn't happen. I would rather see a successful Justice League prequel and a successful Avengers series than for either one to fail and the other one to be succeeding because the other one failed. So I hope that they can ride the superhero genre momentum that's going on, because these are the #1 films in theaters right now. I hope that they can find a way to ride that. They can find a way to make this work. Because if they don't, I'm pretty sure this is their last shot. And if they fail this time, that's going to destroy them. And I don't want that. So DC, please, don't fuck this up! Peace out.